there's no such thing as a mistake. It's actually an opportunity to learn. Now, if you make the mistake twice, then it becomes a mistake,
Yep, of
right?
course,
If you
yes.
haven't learned, then it's a mistake. But like, we're all going to make mistakes. And so being clear and explicit on where you're taking the company, on what your expectations are, and sharing the why.
Hi, welcome to the Prosper Brief. I am Kim DeCarolis, a former 2024 Accelerator, and I am here with Rob Lynch, CEO of Shake Shack.
Hi, Kim.
How's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on.
You're no problem. My pleasure.
Is this your first time at Prosper?
No, I was here a few years ago when, things were just kind of getting developed and put together. So it's so great to see, the growth of this forum and great to see the Accelerator program just really thriving.
It's amazing. I mean, to your point, a couple of years ago, it was, hundreds of people. And now this year there's thousands of people, which is incredible. So it's amazing to be here today. Wanted to ask you a couple questions, so looking back at your career, right? So Taco Bell, Procter Gamble, what experiences helped shape those marketing goals and got you to where you are today?
Yeah, I would tell you, starting off as a brand marketer at Procter Gamble, I still use pretty much everything that I learned there almost every day of my career. So a great foundation. But then going to Taco Bell, which was my first role in the restaurant business, I had the great fortune to work for some amazing leaders who kind of really helped me understand how to adapt kind of that foundational knowledge of marketing into this industry.
Yeah.
And I've taken that base foundation and really been able to leverage that to drive businesses at Arby's or Papa John's and now at Shake Shack. So, but really at the core of everything is just making sure that we always stay focused on our guests and always stay focused on our team members.
Yep.
I think it's really easy to get distracted, especially as a CEO when you've got a lot of demands on your time from your investors and from your other industry, suppliers and what have you. Really staying focused on the guests and the team members is what drives success in this business.
I couldn't agree more. And, at the end of the day, it's always, I think as the brand side of things, you have two customers, right? You have your employees and you have the people that are coming in to dine.
For
And
sure.
so, it is a divided focus, but making sure you stay true to those are great. So, with those defining roles, you talked about Papa John's. I think that's when I first met you, when you were as CEO there. And, with experiences at Taco Bell, what do you think that like those transformations led and like how are you using that today at Shake Shack?
Yeah, I would say, Papa John's was a really interesting opportunity for me. I was the president of Arby's at the time, and I got the call, and I looked at that opportunity, and so, the brand had gone through some challenging times, but I looked at that business and that brand as a differentiated brand in the delivery pizza space. Better pizza, better ingredients, better pizza actually meant something. It wasn't just about price. It was about the quality and the positioning of the brand in the marketplace. And so as a CEO, president with a marketing background, I really felt like I could come in and add value and really take that challenge head on and say, hey, how do we take this brand and reposition it after some tough PR situations, right? And so, and then the pandemic hit and everything changed and we became, pizza delivery. This is kind of before third-party delivery had really grown to where it is today. And so pizza delivery was really the only source of food service for everyone who was, in those early days kind of staying at home, right?
Absolutely.
And so we tapped into people's need for joy during those really challenging times.
Yep.
And we, built a whole campaign around, hey, we're going to deliver a pizza to your door, and that pizza will never be touched from the time it comes out of the oven until you pick it up. And we put a little sticker on the box to reinforce that. And our business took off. We started gaining share. Our guest satisfaction scores went up. So we really stayed focused on understanding kind of where our customers' mind space was,
Yep.
and tapping into that in a way that was unique to us.
And that's amazing. And it's such heavy competition as well, especially during those times. So here we have another one here that says culture, right? So how are you coming in? You've had some phenomenal brands under your belt. How are you coming in as a leader now and fostering a culture that's something that you care about, right? Within your employees and then also within the brand in of itself.
Well, I mean, Shake Shack was founded by Danny Meyer, who is the author of a book called Setting the Table, where he speaks about enlightened hospitality. And that culture of enlightened hospitality is all about, taking care of team members so they'll take care of guests. So there's a very strong cultural component to Shake Shack before I ever showed up.
Yeah.
And when I got there, for about the first 6 months, I was really trying to, I was brought in to scale the business. That's what Danny's charge. That's what Danny and the board, asked me to do. They said, look, how do you take this great thing that is Shake Shack, and how do we scale it? How do we take it national? How do we take it global? I mean, and do that without, losing what makes the brand great. So for the first 6 months, I spent so much time trying to implement all these changes while maintaining the culture, right? That was there for 20 years. And I went to Danny and I just talked to him and I said, Danny, part of my challenge every day is figuring out how to do all the things we need to do that we talk about strategically, but maintain the culture. And Danny, like he always does, he's one of my favorite humans. He gave me the greatest gift ever. He said, Rob, I don't want you to maintain the culture. I want you to advance the culture.
Love that.
He said, let's build on all the things that make Shake Shack great, but they're going to have to evolve and grow and advance if we want our business and our company to grow, evolve, and advance. Right. And so from that point forward, I still approach every decision I make around culture and leadership with respect to the heritage of the company. But it's allowed me to, try a couple different things based on my experience and my other brands. And I think that balance has really helped us move forward faster.
Now, this is a little bit of a kind of shift, but going off of what you said, did you ever feel adversity or people coming in who were already there prior to you and you kind of were leading the change, or, let's call it lighting like a flame on this culture? Did you feel anyone push back? And have you had to experience that at any of the brands or Shake Shack?
Yeah, I mean, I came into a brand that had the same CEO, founder for 20 years.
Right.
So I'm the first non-founder CEO, right? And so there was definitely a strong culture and belief in the way things should be.
You were the new kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think when you come into that situation, it's really important to be a good listener. People, it's not so much that people don't want to get better, which requires change. It's just they don't really know what that change is really going to mean for them.
Right.
And so if you listen to what's really going on behind that, when you're the CEO, people don't always tell you exactly what they're thinking.
You're the principal.
So you really have to try to listen really hard and kind of peel back the layers and get below that. If you listen to what their concerns are and you can authentically address those concerns in a way that kind of puts those concerns to bed, you're going to stakeholder those folks and they're going to get on board. And once you've done that, it's really about setting a very clear vision for where the company's going. Because people can choose whether or not they want to get on that train, right?
Right.
And if they get on that train, then they're gonna, they've chosen to do it. They haven't been forced to do it. And if they get off, that's okay too, because they've made the decision that that's not the work that they want to do moving forward. And so you have some people self-select out, but if you aren't extremely clear about where you're going and how you're going to get there, people continue to sit in limbo. So I think you have to really be explicit about here's where we're headed.
And I think that's amazing. And you spoke earlier today on stage, which thank you again. Everyone was, you had a great panel today with Anne Fink, with Greg Creed, with Ken from Chili's. I mean, you had a great panel this morning. And I think there was a lot of sentiment there. And fortunately for both of us, Greg Creed is a mentor of both of us, and you guys both resonated by saying making a decision, right? Because otherwise you're going to have 10,000 people going in 10,000 directions.
Yeah.
And even if it's not the right decision in 6 months, it was a decision then, and you can kind of move the train forward. And I think you guys did a phenomenal job communicating that today. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
I mean, look, I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as a mistake. It's actually an opportunity to learn. Now, if you make the mistake twice, then it becomes a mistake,
Yep, of
right?
course,
If you
yes.
haven't learned, then it's a mistake. But like, we're all going to make mistakes. And so being clear and explicit on where you're taking the company, on what your expectations are, and sharing the why with the organization on here's why I'm making these decisions. Here's why we're doing what we're doing. Once again allows people to get on board or to get off, and that's fine too. But once everybody's on board, like Greg said, even if it's the wrong decision, we can learn from that. We can pivot, and everyone pivots together.
Yes.
If everyone is going in different directions, if you make the wrong decision, you can't pivot everybody to the right direction.
Exactly. It kills the curiosity, right? Leaves no room for error, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time. I have one last question for you today.
Okay.
Obviously, we're here and innovation is coming up. Where do you see kind of some industry trends, or where do you see food service going? Let's call it the next 12 to 24 months. And you don't have to give any secrets of Shake Shack, but where do you see kind of innovation going for food service today?
I'm kind of old school. When I think about innovation, like I think that people immediately think about like technology when you talk about innovation. They talk about, I think that we can be innovative in our industry by getting back to what made our industry so successful in the first place. And it's truly working hard every day to take care of our guests and our team members. I think that a lot of restaurants in our industry are hyper focused on every line item in the P&L. And don't get me wrong, I'm a public company CEO. I have to be a good steward of our P&L, care about my investors. But if you take care of your guests, if you deliver the best food, the best hospitality you can every day, all that stuff's going to take care of itself. So, I think innovation in our industry is really about getting back to the basics, like Kevin talked about today.
Yep.
You have to have good operations. You have to have good assets. And then, you have to take care of your guests and your team members. And so I think we could all be more focused on that, maybe a little bit less focused on what's the next cool thing.